These are the kinds of little tricks that I would try to execute if you were in the suit. Like he had to go into the suit and he starts to panic in the suit. And as you watch this, if you look and then he starts to calm down, you know? This is the big door that seals them in. That's incidentally what I wear when I come to the studio every morning, and I shut myself down that way, so.
I can barely see anything. It's off the plastic.
This is what I'm saying.
SHF doesn't kill cells like this. There's only a few things in the world that could do this.
One of my first jobs while I was pursuing being a composer was being a sound effects editor. I had to design ambiences for Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. The notion of designing sounds for environments that are, for aliens that are hostile, you know, you have to give that some thought. I would say that those kinds of skills that I developed on that show helped me a bit here in the design of Hot Zone. I began to experiment with all different kinds of audio tricks to kind of see about, well, what would make a viewer uncomfortable about something you can't see. The conversation was like, well, what are the things that human beings don't like hearing? What are the sounds that are kind of uncomfortable? Fingers on a chalkboard, fingernails, wasps, breaking glass, you know, just all little kinds of things. Obviously, you can't make a score of broken glass and buzzing bees, so I had to come up with something else. So I was thinking of, when I was a kid, I used to listen to, there was saloon pianos kind of at carnivals that were out of tune. And the out of tuneness, I think, is sort of a little unsettling. So when you play a regular scale, da 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 da, you know, or 12 notes in a scale, I was thinking of the tones in between a white and a black note, and the idea was, hey, what if we were to start with something just very subtle? So the scale, the 12-note scale, and I was thinking that's only a half step, you know, in music, but there's a lot of quarter tones and microtones just in between those two spaces. So I started experimenting by looking around for sounds that would potentially be. You see, it sounds a little like a B, doesn't it? It kind of, but so when I'm starting the series, it manifests kind of low. It doesn't trumpet itself. But then, as the series goes on and the virus gets worse, and if we listen to the main title actually, now that little 6-second sonic main title, so to speak, it's the human heart. I mean, why not? Because we are talking about the extinction of human life, so we might as well give ourselves a fighting chance there. When I was asked what I thought Ebola sounded like, the only thing I kind of knew is that I didn't really hear a melody in a traditional sense, like, here's your Ebola melody, you know, I just didn't hear that. I knew it was going to need to be something that you would really feel. You'd have to feel it more than acknowledge the melody part. You would be affected by whatever musical contribution I made more internally. And I began to just think about the notion of something spreading. I think contagion is really what makes us uncomfortable, not knowing. And I was thinking of these molecules, you know, whatever, kind of spilling out randomly and spreading. So the idea was that a musical note, again, in sort of this microtuned, detuned kind of way, as it starts to spread out, the tuning would become more diffuse and kind of spread around, and then it would kind of feel a little unsettling. I don't know if I ever worked on anything in which the villain, if you will, or the adversary was so there but also not there. And so that was really probably the biggest challenge of working on the miniseries.